This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojacek from Trend Spider. We have a breaking news. Oh, what is up, everybody? Hey, long time no see. For some of you, welcome to Benzinga Live, Benzinga's third show of the day, also my third show of the day. Here is the situation, right? Most of this company is down in Miami for our Cannabis conference. Producer Aaron Thomas down in Miami. Producer Rohan down in Miami. Aaron Bree, my co-host, down in Miami. Monty Mitch, my co-host in an emergency, getting married for some reason. I'm not quite sure why he's doing that, but he's out getting married. So that leaves me. Oh man, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to drop the link to the show in Benzinga's company Slack and say, hey, whoever wants to join me, come on down. No, it's not going to be just me. I'm not going to be by myself for this whole show. That would be insane. And I'm going to be joined in a couple of minutes by Chris Katje. We have an interview at 11:45. We're talking to Horace Luke, the founder and CEO of Gogoro, recently trading on the NASDAQ as of 2 weeks ago. GGR is the ticker. We'll talk about what they're doing. We'll talk about the Spac deal. Talk about their global expansion. That'll be at 11:45. I've got Tony Benson on the hook to join us at 1 o'clock, and I hope Mark Moran from Litquidity would join us at 1:30 or so. And that's the show. So, full disclosure, outside of this interview that we're doing here in about 10 minutes, I have done almost no preparation for this show. Patrick Starr, I can neither confirm nor deny that this is the case. I do know that Aaron Bree told me before he left on Friday that he said, yes, Spencer, I'll be around Monday or not, wait, no, he left. When did he leave? He left on Monday. So, and he said, I'll be around on Friday to help you out on Benzinga Live. I can do it from the hotel. Psh, nah. No, not happening. Aaron Bree may or may not be hungover somewhere, lying in a ditch. I don't know. I honestly, I hope that everyone gets on their flight okay, because Benzinga doesn't always have the best track record in terms of everybody making their flights. There is always at least one person, always, without fail, every event that we do, somebody misses their flight. Never know who's going to be. There's always that one schmuck, right? So, anyway. So guys, it's a Friday. Let's just hang out. Let's just talk about whatever we want to talk about. Thank you, Tiny Pie. I appreciate that. BP, it's a good question. We can ask Horace when he's on in 10 minutes. That is the only thing that I have done any sort of prep for this show today. I figured, you know what? What the hell? It's Friday. It's like kind of summery-ish. I mean, not quite, but almost. So in my head, it's Summer Friday. So I'm just going to rip the entire show. No prep, no notes, no nothing, no ideas. It's going to Joe Rogan style, right? Just no plan. Just whatever happens. That's the plan for today's show. Before I get too far into this, I want to plug real fast. Where is it? See, this I'm talking about where I didn't plan anything. Oh, there it is. I'm in the wrong spot. Okay. Our next event is 3 weeks from today, the FinTwit Summit in Vegas, which I will be at, by the way. Click this link, or don't click it, but you can copy this link. It's also in the description of this video, but I'm putting it on the screen right now. And use that discount code, okay? BZ YouTube 20. Get your ticket today. It's going to be amazing. I will be there. We're going to trade. We're going to gamble. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's at the Aria Hotel and Casino in Vegas, May 13th and 14th. Benzinga and Lupton Capital co-sponsoring the FinTwit Summit. Have an amazing roster of speakers, educators, traders set for 2 full days of trading education and workshops and sessions and seminars and one-on-one lessons. It's going to be awesome. So again, link in description. You can also go to benzingaevents.com. But if you're going to do that, use the code BZYouTube20 to get 20% off your ticket. Again, FinTwit Conference, May 13th and 14th at the Aria Hotel and Casino in Vegas. And as I said, I will be there. And yes, my math does check out. It is 3 weeks from today and yesterday. So it's going to be amazing. What's up, Yogi Bull? Oh, yeah, I saw something about, like, what was Auntie Jeanette speaking? I didn't see what she said. So anyway. All right. Before I bring on Chris, let's just do a quick rundown of the market. I'm going to go to my handy dandy Benzinga Pro here. Go to my scanner tool. This is the tool that I use while the market is open. I use this pre-market. I use the movers tool, and after hours I use movers. But when the market's open, I use our scanner tool. I've got my gainers from the opening bell on the top left, my losers from the opening bell on the bottom left, and my 5-minute movers on the top right. Then I got a little news feed there on the bottom where I can search for individual stocks and individual catalysts. So what jumps out to us here today? Obviously, FRGE. Look at that guy. Again, full disclosure, no idea what's going on. So let's go to FRGE. Oh, man. All right. This thing's a moving. Do we have news? Yeah, okay. So this is not really that helpful a headline, honestly. Do we know why? Is it just a BS rumor? Because all these things always have rumors. Nothing has been confirmed, right? Anyway, that jumps out as a major gainer here. What else do we have? Longeveron? I see. No. Sorry. No. Not going to play the Longeveron game again. What else jumps out to us? Let's go to my watch list and just look at overall market here. Yeah. Remember a couple of days ago when, like, the first few days of the week were green and we were like, oh my goodness, are we about to rally again? Nope, we're not. We are not. Everything is red today. Every sector is red. Every major index is red. The only thing I'm seeing that's really green, well, I guess there are a couple things. All right. One of them is this guy, this bad boy here. Tesla up 1.18%. Twitter up almost 3%, though off its highs of the day. It's a little sketchy. Why? Because Elon is more because he's got the funding secured, apparently. I don't know. Yeah, war stocks too. But again, I'm not understanding why war stocks would be up today specifically when we got the news yesterday, unless there was a headline that I missed, which is entirely possible. Right, Lockheed. You know what? I see UAL up too. Guys, okay, serious question here. I I've got a little bit of cash to play with. Do I do want to take a stab at some of these reopening plays. I don't know what though. Maybe we can talk about that. Let's talk about that after Horace. But I'm very interested in reopening. And if you're watching pre-market prep this morning, the idea that consumer spending is shifting, for the moment at least, away from goods and into services has me very intrigued. And so any like product thing, I'm out. I guess with the exception of cigarettes, because I still have my Altria swing trade on. But so I'm all about services right now, and the airlines are the only industry so far that has come out with earnings for the first quarter and said, "Yeah, things are actually looking pretty good for us right now." So there's a million ways to play that, though. We'll talk about that. Put it in Labu? No, no, no. I don't want that. I don't want that. We can talk about Labu next week with Dave Mazza from Direction. He'll be on Benzinga Live. But no, I'm specifically talking about reopening trade. So we'll table that. But I do want y'all thoughts as later. Yeah, Viper. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe, right? Those are some ideas that I could be interested in. But so I see the airlines up again today, right? What else do I see up? Nothing of interest. The video game stocks are trading higher. That's random. You guys see that as well? Whoops, sorry. There we go. Like EA, Take-Two in the green when the vast majority of the stock market is red. It's weird. The ATVI doing? It's got the takeover thing though, but no real movement there. No, EA jumps out though, which is interesting. I don't know why. And that'll be a theme of the day. I don't know why. All right, let's do this. Let's bring on, before we bring on our first guest, let's bring on Chris Katje, a.k.a. Chrisopedia, who's going to help me do this interview. He's done the vast majority of the research for this came from his brain, not mine. So let's bring him on right now. Chris, what's up, man? How are we doing?
What's going on? I like that theme of the day that you don't know anything.
I know nothing ever. Well, that's a general rule of thumb, but
not just today. Not
no,
just today.
But it's especially true today. Yeah. All right, Chris, tee this one up for us.
Yeah, so Gogoro just recently completed that Spac deal, now traded as GGR. This is a battery swapping company. They have huge market share over in Taiwan, and they're expanding into territories like China, India, and Southeast Asia. If you know anything about the global markets, you know that scooters and two-wheel vehicles are incredibly popular in these densely populated cities over there. So they use this battery swapping technology. So while we're so focused on electric vehicles here in the US, I mean, two-wheeled vehicles and batteries over there is a huge growing market for a company like this.
All right, here we go. Let's get Horace Luke on this show right now. Horace Luke, welcome to Benzinga Live.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Awesome. Well, Horace Luke, CEO of Gogoro, as I just said, recently completed that Spac deal. So Horace, I guess to get things started here, one of the questions I always like to ask, is why the decision to go public via Spac versus maybe a traditional IPO or a direct listing?
Thanks, Chris. I think you tapped it right on the head there just a second ago. Most people actually in the West don't realize how essential two-wheelers are for the East. Over 500 million two-wheelers roam around, in Asia every day, accounting for over half of the urban commute miles done globally every day, right? In India alone, right? So if you look at India, 80% of all individual commute miles done every day is done on two-wheelers. 60% of all gas spent every year is spent on two-wheelers. But most of the people in the West don't understand that. And so, by going with the traditional SPAC route, we're able to tell our story in a more complete, more due diligent kind of way. When most companies go IPO, it really, you have about 15, 20 minutes to tell the banker why you matter. But indeed, what the story that we're telling and the utilitarian nature of what we do and just the green space that we're in is so different than everybody else. Most of the time, you have a company go on a roadshow and they say, "Oh, I'm kind of like the Asia Uber," or "I'm the blah 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 of in the Asia world." Well, we do so much, and what we do is essentially something that nobody has ever done. And so to tell that story, we really needed to go to on a route where we're able to spend quality time with investors, with a team that really can stand behind us and say, these guys have got the equation right, and the story is worth listening to.
So, Horace, one thing, that I noticed, of course, following along with the SPAC story here, but maybe other people missed along the way, is that during the SPAC merger process, you guys actually added additional funds and additional partners to the pipe. That's not something we always see in the SPAC space. Usually those pipe, investors are announced at the deal announcement, and then it's just kind of quiet until the process completes. Walk us through how there was more demand to get these added investors into the pipe prior to the merger being completed.
That's a great question. We're targeting 175 million on our pipe as we made the announcement to do the merger. We're dealing with large companies like the world's number one gasoline two-wheel maker, Hero Motorcorp in India, which has a footprint of 40 countries and growing, right? We're dealing with large companies like Foxconn, right? The world's largest electronics maker, accounting for almost half of the electronics. The iPhone in your pocket and your PC and your desktop is most likely built by them. Those guys all needed quality time to get the board approval and others to really kind of get everybody on the same page, right? And so they couldn't make it in time in the 175, we initially announced. So one by one, they got their board approval and they all came in. And there was a lot of questions out there as to whether or not we gave a lot of these strategic partners, kind of like, sweetheart deals in the background. I can answer you that there was no sweetheart deal. Everybody was in it for the long term. Everybody saw the opportunity of what we're doing and also wanted to show support and also join up in the long, basically on the long run. And we oversubscribed that pipe to $295 million, right? Something unheard of in this space. And it just further shows the support we have. We have great investors like Temasek in Asia. We have the former, Vice President Al Gore, who's been championing climate change, and through his fund Generation, has kind of been an early investor of ours. We have one of the early movers into China from Taiwan, Dr. Samuel Yin of RT Mart. Which kind of beat out Walmart in China, building hypermarket. He was like one of our first investor and really supported along the way, as well as Engine Number One, who, as placed 3 independent board members on ExxonMobil, as well as supporting GM's transformation in electric. So we have a, kind of who's who of this list of great investors. And all just seeing this great opportunity ahead of us, because quite honestly, if you think about four-wheel space and four-wheel charging, there's a lot of competitors out there, right? There's, of course, your name brand Tesla that we just kind of talked about just a second ago. You got the Lucid, you got Faraday Future, you got everybody doing trucks to cars. And then, but when you ask about the space of two-wheel, where you got great two-wheel technology, and then you got great kind of refueling infrastructure, it's really hard for you to probably name another brand out there, another company tackling this problem. And we just see this as a great opportunity, and so do they. And we got great support coming into the market. And furthermore, we're continuing to see great support, from the investment community, finding a lot of interest in what we're doing.
Horace, before we get into, those expansion plans, those new territories, just backing it up a minute, you heard me say, in your intro there, you're a market leader in Taiwan. That was the first territory you guys really attacked. Just walk me through, how important is the Taiwan market? How is the market share for Gogoro, and what exactly are you doing there for people who maybe haven't heard the story?
Okay. Well, when I started back in, 2011, battery swapping was something that kind of nobody has ever heard of, for at least for two-wheelers. There are, people that are trying it and for four-wheeler, but, failed miserably. And so when I started developing technology after about 20 years in technology, I spent my early part of my career in Microsoft. I was one of the founders of Xbox, and then eventually became, one of the guys that changed Windows into Windows XP. And then eventually, moved to a company in Taiwan. And this is how I ended up in Taiwan. I'm not Taiwanese, but I ended up in Taiwan because I worked for a company called HTC that most likely built, like the famous Verizon Droid, kind of the T-Mobile MyTouch. Those are all devices I built in Taiwan. And through that, I kind of saw the opportunity to take on kind of the next tackle as we look at the next, decade or two, as the world transforms itself to sustainability and services instead of goods and, kind of, speed and feed, moving into something that people were more interested in. And I saw a great opportunity to develop the technology here in Taiwan. I did that a couple of years, and I had to pick a pilot market to pilot the idea because, everything on paper looks great, but, until you really have it demonstrated, people in large market weren't going to take you seriously. And so we did it. We launched in 2015. With 31 stations in Taipei, with the first, first market kind of going. And there was a lot of people asking me, like, don't you have to have thousands of stations before you deploy in a location? Well, I've always said, no, you kind of fill in the blank as you go. Because through the deployment, think about battery really as kind of like, bandwidth of the network. And then stations as base stations that allow you to kind of more like a mobile operator. And then we just fill in the blank as we sell vehicle and then putting the batteries in the vehicle, and the vehicle then moves around and tells us through our AI and machine learning system where to plug in the new battery stations and provide services. So when we started in Taiwan, less than 1% of all vehicles sold was electric. So 99% of the vehicles were burning fuel. Only 1% because of either government support or because of corporation that wanted to do kind of more sustainable transportation was buying electric. No consumer was doing it. And so in 2015, that was kind of how we entered it. In 2021, just last December, we closed the year. We're happy to report that in Taiwan, we're about 11 or 12%. So every, on the island of Taiwan, overall accounting all kind of rural area and the countryside, and as well as metropolitan area, we now account for about 11 to 12% of all vehicles sold, 1 out of 8. And then in Taipei, very densely populated, in the capital Taipei here, in Taipei, we're now about 26% market share. So 1 out of 4 vehicles. Now, perhaps most impressive is that 26% represent 95% of all electric vehicles sold. So, our battery swapping idea, by not including the battery in the purchase equation, help the consumer kind of get into the vehicle in a more affordable and kind of more comparable way against a gas vehicle. But also at the same time, it provides a business model more like a mobile operator that allows you to swap and go anytime you want. So today, we have now over 2,000 locations all through Taiwan. And so in metropolitan area, we have more stations and locations, than gas station. We have over 10,000, of these stations that you see behind my back here, all throughout town in very convenient locations, right? We need to offer something better than gas to convince the consumer to switch over from gas. And so in this case, instead of gas station, we're placed literally every quarter mile or so, kind of like ATM machine. And they're placed in, bus stops, convenience stores, supermarket, parking lots, underneath apartment buildings, in places where people want to get to, and it's kind of like a pass-by location instead of a destination like gas station. From that, we're able to demonstrate kind of what we've been doing is successful, and then solicit a lot of partnership, as you mentioned, into other areas such as China, India, Indonesia, etc.
Horace, who does have the majority of the market share right now?
In electric, we do. We're 95% of all electric vehicle. And the way to think about us is
also overall. But also overall, I'm wondering.
Overall, as far as gas and electric, there are other kind of incumbents that have been in the market for 50 years or so that that really has a dominant share in gasoline vehicle. But more and more now we're seeing younger people, more kind of thoughtful people transitioning themselves to electric because it just makes sense. You're no longer sitting. If you've been into Asia, you can. I don't know if you guys been to Taiwan, but you've probably been to other parts of Asia where you couldn't cross the street without getting hit by a scooter, right? This is kind of like Taiwan, and then you can feel.
Yeah. I've been to Taiwan, but it's been about 27 years, so I don't think.
Well, unfortunately,
reference. Sorry.
Unfortunately, nothing has changed that much when it comes to these noisy, polluting gas scooters. We're now stocked in about 3 or 4% in Taiwan. So every year, as we build up our vehicles, as we sell in 10%, 12%, about another vehicle lasts about 10 years in on the market, right? So as you trail off the kind of gas vehicle, now we're kind of ticking over, some of the penetration, especially in cities where thousands and thousands of people are living on top of each other. Yeah. Where they're more conscious about air pollution, heat pollution, noise pollution, smell, and just overall just how bad it feels to be on a gas vehicle when you can be on an electric one. And we started to see that markets like Indonesia, markets like India, a lot of large markets are coming to us saying, hey, how can we have what you have demonstrated as a successful model now bring to their larger scale market? So if you think about Taiwan every year does about 700,000 vehicles a year. But if those markets that Chris just mentioned, add them up, over 65 million vehicles sold per year, right? That's 80 times what Taiwan sells per year. That's where the opportunity is. If you look at where we are in Taiwan today, we really have centralized our R&D. We centralized most of our capability in Taiwan, demonstrated it in Taiwan. And then now as we scale into those other countries, it's literally just cookie cutter, right? We take our technology, we take our AI system, we took our control system, billing system, and all the stuff that it takes to run the network, as well as our battery and station and electronics, and then enable the partners overseas. One thing I forgot to mention is people usually call us the Android of EVs, because we not only do our own brand, but we also enable Yamaha to build vehicles that swap on our network, Suzuki Taiwan to do the same, Aeon and A Motor to do the same. We have 10 different brands on our network now, 47 different vehicle models. So if you want a fast one, you can pick one. If you want a super slow one, you pick one. If you pick, if you want to buy, one that actually is a 3-wheeler that uses 4 battery instead of 2 battery or single battery, you could also pick one also as well. So, think of us as really an enabling platform that allows, people to kind of electrify their portfolio as well as their city.
Horace, you mentioned the, expansion into some of these other territories, and that was one of the big takeaways I got from the Spac deal announcement. I saw a couple of comments in the chat already mentioning, some stations live in China. Can you just walk us through, where do you currently stand in the Chinese market, and what's the timeline to get into some of these other territories as you grow?
Oh, great. In China, we started deploying network early spring this year. We started, with Hangzhou late last year, getting some in before the winter. And then the spring was kind of where bulk of our station was deploying. We now have about 169 stations across, I would say, 2.1 city. We started with Hangzhou. We have about, slightly more than 100 stations now in Hangzhou. And then, we moved into Wuxi, and then we got another, kind of 20, 30 stations or so, and then we started, deploying some in, Kunming now. And so, as we get ready for the summertime, and and as people are starting to look for, electric vehicle, next month is where kind of things are climbing up. Is next month, they will have enough station to support the first wave of customer going in. So we're starting to do some marketing activity in Hangzhou, starting as early as late this month. Our Yadi, our partner, already started manufacturing some vehicle. Unfortunately, as you probably realize, you guys, you've heard all through the news, China is suffering from the latest wave of kind of COVID outbreak. Some of the factories are shut down, so that kind of put a little slight delay into the market. But we've seen significant, desire for what we're doing in that market, especially from different vehicle makers, as well as within the markets that we've entered. Consumers are definitely asking questions about what we have to offer. And then as well as, we're starting to have a pilot in Indonesia, in Jakarta, with, if you don't know the name GoTo or Gojek. They're the, kind of think of them as the Uber of Southeast Asia, the super app of Indonesia. They have about 2 million riders on the network, and they're looking to convert all those riders to electric by the end of this decade. And really the only way to do it in some place like Jakarta is really through battery swapping. There is really literally impossible to find a place to park. So therefore, the traditional tether charging plus the time it takes to charge will never work in a city like Jakarta. So we've kind of worked with them to deploy an early pilot, and we're getting some great feedback with the riders on their network and the desirability of our vehicle, as well as the business model of swapping instead of charging. And then we're also developing India, most likely with Hero. We're going to launch in later part of this year in Delhi, and that's the target that we're kind of both companies have set up a line in the sand and say, okay, let's get something into Delhi, and as well as just as soon as late as just yesterday, India government just published a very, very favorable first draft of a regulation to kind of focus on battery swapping and safety and openness of the network, which is something that we do, right? We're really focused by having the batteries in our station that's closely monitored every minute that it's in the station. We're able to monitor for the safety, for the thermal, for the performance of these batteries, as well as provide these batteries across a portfolio of different vehicle makers, as well as different customer base to use our platform. And so it's really encouraging to see India kind of embracing battery swapping and publishing their first draft with openness and with safety and kind of innovation in mind to really kind of leapfrog the traditional plug-in charging and go into a massive scale to go and adopt electric two-wheelers through battery swapping.
Horace, thanks for that background on the India ruling. I know I saw someone comment on that in the chat as well. I want to bring it back to competition for a minute. I heard Spencer talk about, some of those traditional auto companies. I did see a headline in April that a couple companies, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, were working on a new battery swapping business. Can you just talk a little bit about the competition within the battery swapping field? Is this a massive market where there's room for lots of players, or could this eat into market share going forward?
I think, Chris, you asked a really great question. There has been a lot of different, I would say, copycat, competitors out there. When we started, we're really literally the only one. When we started, people were scratching their head going, batteries not included, battery swapping, that would never work. And then as we kind of got into 2017, 18, starting to gain some momentum, we're starting to see some folks kind of quickly copying what we're doing. Now, the nature of copycat is that they take shortcuts, right? They wouldn't have copycat if they weren't interested in just shortcutting the problem. Well, in an infrastructure problem like ours, quality, durability, safety is really important. And only through kind of working through that problem set on our own and engineering, we just shipped the 1 millionth smart battery on the Taiwan network. 1 million, right? We went through 3 different generations of battery. We went through 3 different generations of station, right? Only to get to efficiency and get to the performance that we're able to achieve today. Now, while others are putting consortiums and teams together to say, we're going to go through the lobbying route instead of going through the consumer route, we firmly believe in the consumer. If you satisfy the desire of the consumer and you offer something that is a great user experience, they will vote with their hands and their pocket and their feet to come toward your direction. And so we are really focused on business fundamental. We focus on partnership to get into those markets. And we really believe that we have developed this suite of tools and system that enable us to deploy very, very quickly. So, just look at Hangzhou. We started late last year. In less than 6 months, I'm able to get 100 stations up and then light up the city of Hangzhou, getting ready next month to start shipping some vehicles. And so we are, I think, as you think about the problem set is really complicated. It is not that easy to bring up a network and, offer it so that the consumers don't complain. We're handling hundreds of thousands of battery swaps a day, literally, all automated, several a second. handling peak hours and off peak hours, and having the machine be able to work seamlessly to service these riders who are, it's essential that they get their energy they're looking for. They're taking their kids to school, picking them up from after school, going to work, making sure they don't show up late so the boss don't yell at them. So the pressure for us to manage that network in a kind of seamless and efficient way is you can only imagine how serious they have to take the problem set. And so only upon proving that in Taiwan with a live network were we able to convince large partners like Hero Motor Corp, like Yadi, the world's largest electric two-wheel maker, right? And that's based out of China. This year they'll ship 16 million vehicles, right? Or in Dachangjiang, the China's #1 gasoline two-wheel maker, to now all adopt our technology as a transition from their traditional vehicle, either kind of like a traditional gasoline vehicle, which is now being, as you can almost imagine, a lot of different policymakers are now setting pretty strong stake in the ground to say, hey, you know what, we're going to retire these polluting vehicle by a certain time, right? And so we're now seeing them kind of after, it wasn't easy. It wasn't like, you knock on the door and they say, hey, let's do battery swapping, let's go together. It took about 1.5 to 2 years of really deep dive to go through our technology, prove that what we say we were going to do, we did, that the customer is happy, and the network can handle the stress of the load, that comes in during rush hours. And that all that added up together, now they're confident and putting their money into kind of a JV into these networks now are going to fund the expansion of the network, right? And so that in itself was an overwhelming kind of work and diligence in order to get to where we are today. So it's one thing to say I'm going to have a consortium with different vehicle makers to build battery swapping. It's another to actually handle hundreds of millions of battery swap, right? We handle over 300, around 300 million battery swaps since day one. That is a phenomenal amount of stress that we went through on our network that we learned a lot from and developed tools for. And that's kind of the system around the battery swapping that's most unique.
Horace, I want to turn to financials here for a minute.
Sure.
Again, I've covered the Spac market for a while. We have startups going public that route. We have companies with real revenue. Here we have a company with revenue. Last I saw, you guys were on pace to do $500 million in sales for 2022. Can you just give an update? Is that still the case, or has any of the pandemic issues or shutdowns in China, has that impacted some of those projections going forward?
Well, most of our revenue this year is going to be coming from Taiwan. The China market is really about getting started. So it really didn't contribute that much to our $500 million in revenue that we if you look into details, you see that it didn't contribute that much. Several percent. Into the overall $500 million in revenue we're looking at. In an unaudited, financial, you probably saw an announcement that last year we closed the book at about slightly over 10% more than what we projected. We're convinced that we're in a good, trajectory. We have great momentum in Q1 that will show us, indicator that this year is a solid year. Where in Taiwan we have a network already deployed. We have great amount of partners when it comes to retailing and also vehicle makers. We are seeing, however, a recent outbreak in Taiwan from COVID. The COVID situation is unstable. It's hard to predict what's going to happen there. But we're going to work our best to try and get to that $500 million, and we can continue to feel confident about that.
Awesome. So we talk a lot here about, swappable batteries for two-wheel vehicles. Are we close at all, or are there any plans in the future to integrate swappable battery technology into four-wheel electric vehicles?
I think, you probably saw recently we announced, a prototype of the world's first solid-state battery that is swappable through our network. Now, what's unique about that swappable battery is that it plugs right into our vehicle, any of our vehicle that has been deployed. The close to 500,000 vehicles that it's on the network running around today. as well as it plugs into all our 10,000 stations that we have already deployed in Taiwan. So, as technology upgrades, as density of battery upgrades, right? In this particular battery, we're looking at about another 40% gain from where we are today on energy density. Swapping a car, we already have 3-wheelers with 4 batteries, right? That allows us to do heavy load and do more commercial delivery. Eventually, you could see yourself getting to a point where you're swapping a 6-pack out in order to get a mini like a micro 4-wheeler, an in-city micro 4-wheeler going. But I think anything over a 6-pack is a little tough for the consumer to swap out. So, we have to wait for the battery technology and the chemistry to kind of get the density up to that level. And then what you see is then a enablement of, different form factors come in. So we're seeing already, some of the 3-wheelers that weren't possible before now being possible. And then, eventually in the future, I think really it's a dependency on, what you call the future and how long you want to call the future. But, can it be done one day? Maybe, Are we going to be focusing on that in the meantime in the next 5 years? Probably not. We're going to be really focusing on that 500 million 2-wheelers that are roaming around in Asia today that desperately needs our solution. And as you look at China has about 370 million vehicles that need to be retired over the next 5 years. That, government has put a stake in the ground and say no more charging at home, because people are dying in apartments when battery fires happen, right? And the kid's sleeping, the wife's sleeping, the husband's sleeping. And that's just simply dangerous. In one of our stations, as you think about our single unit station, we can support hundreds of customers in a corner of a parking lot. And if you're talking about a parking space, about 17 square meter, I've been out of the US for a little while, so I can't not convert that into square feet, but 17 square meter or so, where you put 4 of these units, you can satisfy over 1,000 customers. So being concentrated in an area, managed real time through telematics, is the only way to go when it comes to charging these batteries and distributing these batteries. And China is seeing a strong momentum in that direction. Taiwan has also seen a really good adoption. It's, we talked about Taiwan a little bit now, about 95% of all electric now moving toward, our system and our platform. And because of that, the government has really put a stake in the ground and say, by 2030, 35% of all 2-wheelers sold needs to be electric. By 2035, 70%. And by 2040, 100% of all vehicles sold needs to be electric. And so that's a great stake in the ground they put in several weeks ago that continue to kind of show consumer confidence that what the decision they're making is the right one. It's supported by the government, is supported by the infrastructure maker. Is also, not only do they not have to, not only are they looking at the government putting policy in place, but they also seeing our partnerships being strong, right? So Yamaha shipping, yet another vehicle on our network. Aeon shipping, a number of vehicles, including 3-wheelers on our network. Suzuki Taiwan also doing, developing new vehicle. As you think about the portfolio of 47 vehicle, eventually it'll grow and grow and grow and grow. So if you want sporty one, you got one. You got you want to affiliate your aesthetic to a certain design and brand, you can do that too. And so choices is also at the same time something that we built into our business model that allows a consumer to kind of adopt the way they want to adopt it.
Horace, before we get to a couple questions from the chat here, one last one from me. Since the debut, we have seen shares come down a bit. I know you can't probably comment on the share price, but I mean, overall, you have this massive growth story of the China market, the Indian market, $500 million of expected revenue this year. What do you think investors may be missing in the story here? Or are shares maybe getting hit just from that overall, macro issue of pandemic reoccurrence in China and Taiwan? Any comments on that?
I think, honestly, we focus on business fundamental. We're, like you said a second ago, Chris, we're unique in that we're, a lot of EV companies out there going public are pre-revenue. Some are even pre-technology, to be honest with you, right? So they're pre-technology, pre-revenue, and pre-market development. We're unique in that we have, combined over $1 billion in revenue since, we started deploying. We have been EBITDA positive since several years ago, right? And as you look at our financials over the last several years, it's been steadily building. And so as we deploy internationally, we'll amortize our R&D and all our efforts that we put in Taiwan to kind of build up the system. to now go into these other markets, right, and being able to amortize our cost out. And so we think that we're going to perform well in the market because we are unique in that we're EBITDA positive, we're building a strong business, and we're Taiwan is really just think of Taiwan as really just a pilot, right? I mean, yeah, we capture a lot of revenue from this market, but it's really just a pilot when comparison to other big markets that we're going after. So that to me, the opportunity is definitely ahead of us. The tailwind is there with government policies, with partnerships that are pushing us forward, as well as a huge demand in the market of 500 million vehicles needing to convert to electric. On top of that, I think most of the things that the audience and the investors also loves about our story is, the battery is not only for just micromobility, but it's also for other purposes. So, for example, we're starting to develop new technology and new use of the battery around smart grid. Being able to take our station and participate within the microgrid scenario, where we can contribute to demand response as well as kind of bi-directionally pushing energy back to the grid. That's a new business model that come from the battery in the stations that are they're not on our plans at the moment. But as we develop and then batteries trail off, and if for the people that actually knows about battery, battery lives only so long for vehicles, and then it kind of trails off because the capability and the thrust from the battery is no longer there. But that doesn't mean the battery is kaput for the rest of its life and needs to go to recycling. We actually can do a lot of second life purposes. So things like, for example, we just announced recently that we're working with the government to back up street lights. So traffic lights and crosswalks, right? So Taiwan several months ago experienced a huge blackout where 40% of our household had power outage. One of the first thing that people thought about is safety, right? As you cross the street, as cars are going through intersections, how do you make sure that as power goes out within these big cities for a blip, that street lights don't go out? Well, we're here to help. Our swappable batteries can power street lights and crosswalk for 3 hours. We also deployed, this year we will deploy several thousand what we call smart parking meter poles that allows the city to kind of get more organized and power smart parking meters, not through having to dig out the ground and pulling lines of wires, but plopping one of our batteries in, and every 27 days or so we swap a battery out. These are all development of new technology that we're enabling, so that as battery rolls off the first life of kind of mobility, what we're going to do is bring that technology and bring that battery to now second life to continue to extrapolate revenue out of these batteries. So really think about battery as kind of a infrastructure and leasing model. The longer you can keep these batteries in circulation, the more financial returns you get out of them. So as you depreciate the battery down to nothing, we can see then a long tail of not only within mobility, but also within other use cases where we can extend the life of use of these batteries to continue to extrapolate revenue out of the batteries.
I'm going to jump in here and just with a couple questions from the chat. Horace, since you just mentioned safety here, can you speak more about the safety of the batteries themselves? I know there have been several videos in the past few years of some various fires and such. Can you just speak more about that and how you ensure that Gogoro's vehicles and charging stations are safe?
Yeah, so we take safety very, very, very seriously. One of the things that we do with every battery is that, unlike other vehicles, probably you've seen some fires in India, you've seen some fires in China and others where vehicles just, while they're charging or while they're sitting on the side of the road at a relatively high charge rate, that they just get on fire. Now, batteries as you deploy, maybe, with the exception of Tesla and a couple other vehicles, they're kind of premium vehicles, batteries are not connected to the grid at all, right? The unique thing about our business model is that the battery comes back home every couple of days. As the customers swap out the battery, we then take a read of the battery, how they were being used, what kind of stress has they gone through. And as we charge them, we also closely monitor the temperature, the charge rate, any discrepancy within the battery in individual cells and whether or not there anything that's kind of degrading within the battery. And if something is wrong with it, our system flags it, pulls it back, goes to our service center, goes to a double check before it goes back out. That's perhaps a really unique part of what we do. We monitor our batteries every minute while they're in the cabinet. right? And also on top of that, as people ride the vehicle, we log a lot of data into the batteries, and then be able to then take them and put them back into the server and kind of change our algorithm, program the battery differently, condition the battery, and ensure that we make sure that safety is something that we watch over instead of, of course, you have to build in the safety factor when it comes to the pack design, the electronic design, right? And all of that, because our battery is lithium ion, same as what is in the Model 3 and the Tesla, units, so we got to handle that high density of energy with utmost care, right? Because these vehicles are roaming around where millions of people are living within the cities. We got to really focus on safety, and I'm happy to say that not only is it within the battery that we've built in hardware and software and monitoring safety, but also at the same time, when it comes to back to the cabinet themselves watches over. And then the third layer of measurement is that our cloud, through big data and through machine learning, watches for discrepancy within each one of the batteries real time, and then be able to flag them and condition the batteries and service the battery as necessary. So, Gogoro has been, we've deployed now 1 million batteries without any, kind of, I would say, overwhelming safety issues. It's something that we designed into our system since day one.
And then last one here for you, Horace. Who would you say is your main competitor?
Honestly, our main competitor I think there are a couple competitors. If I'm going to be, a little humble, I think, our ability to scale internationally in the speed that is needed in order to overtake cities will be one of them. As we build out, it's not an easy task. I always tell people that, if it's easy and, somebody would have done it already, and then we don't have that opportunity. We're no longer the first mover. So really, going into cities, and going as fast as we can is the number one, thing I'm really focused on. As you go into these cities, the traditional usage of gasoline vehicle, getting the right government policy support, getting the right, kind of consumer education as to, our system is different than perhaps what they've heard of when it comes to electric. When Tesla started, I would say, people, when before Tesla, when you ask people about electric cars, they go, electric cars, no way. It doesn't go far. It's cumbersome. It's expensive. It doesn't last long. It's, the economics, 80% of the cost goes to the battery. Nothing goes over the interior, or the design of the vehicle. Now, today, when you say electric four-wheeler, people already have this assumption is great. I think the two-wheeler is a little behind on the four-wheeler market. In that when you ask people about the two-wheeler, Spencer, you just asked me a question about electric vehicle fire, right? That has happened, but it's in the legacy two-wheel electric vehicle, right? That, people were not monitoring the batteries, right? Or that they, their family already has, 2 or 3 of these gasoline gasoline vehicles, and that they're used to servicing at the mom and pop shop down the street. Those are behaviors that we need to overcome through education. But I think the great thing about what we're doing is, when I first started building, smartphones way back when I first joined HTC, all my friends were saying, smartphones? I got my BlackBerry. Why do you need a smartphone, man? We already got a laptop. Why do you need a smartphone? And I said, computing and connectivity that goes in your pocket would change people's lives. And I jumped in 2006 from Microsoft to HTC when nobody believed smartphone was going to change the world. I think this is kind of where we are today now, where electric two-wheelers with a business model of battery swapping, right? Smart vehicles that are getting updated. So one thing, Spencer, is really unique about what we do is, batteries, the first battery I deploy on a network continue to be there. The first vehicle that deployed on a network continue to be there. And they continue to get updates. So battery gets updated, periodically. The station gets updated periodically. The vehicle, we just shipped the rain mode. The vehicle that shipped in 2015 didn't have a rain mode. And then we came out with the aha moment and says, wouldn't it be great if you watch the weather condition and actually inform the user as to whether or not, it's raining outside, and tell them that, hey, you might want to turn the torque down so that you can ride a little safer with your family on it. And so we deployed that photo, and we updated the very first vehicle that was on the network. This is a new way that vehicle is going to be. Doesn't matter if it's 4-wheel, 3-wheel, or 2-wheel. connected vehicle is here to, as the next wave of kind of the revolution of mobility, and mix on top of that sustainability. That's kind of where the next topic.
I would just love if you could just name one competitor, just one other company.
Well, in Taiwan, for example, the largest vehicle maker, Kimco, they started deploying their network several years after we did. They went through 3 generation already of station, not forward or backward compatible. So first generation doesn't work with second generation doesn't work with third generation. None of it's compatible, right? Yeah. And now today, they account for maybe 3% of the electric market, while we contribute 95%. 2% is some legacy vehicles, that people want to push into their living room and plug in and charge, the lead acid batteries. So, small success. I think it's really about the Coca-Cola machine penetrating into that market. And then now all of a sudden, I'm going to offend some Pepsi lovers out there, but once you got Coca-Cola machine placed on the primary location, it's really hard to get the secondary locations to be as popular. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing in this market. And as we go into the other markets, they are, Spencer, I'm not going to lie to you, there are 20 different battery swapping companies in China. There are several that are popping up in India, right? All trying to take advantage of this space. But I can honestly say that, if you look at these vehicle makers, when they raise their hand and say they want to try battery swapping as a new technology they want to adopt, people are coming through the front door, the back door, the side window, from underground, right? And to offer their solution that is cheaper, faster, and perhaps, all the reasons why they would be better, right? But at the end, now you got the number one vehicle maker, Honda, Hero Motocorp, in India, in 40 countries picking us. Number one, electric two-wheel maker, Yadi, picking us. Number one, gasoline two-wheel maker in China picking us as the, kind of the de facto standard they're going after. In Indonesia, number one technology company, number one fleet owner of 2 million riders also picking us. I think those are the kind of the stripes on the shoulder that I'm proud of. And now it's really about the speed of execution for us. Now, of course, COVID, it puts a kinks in a lot of travel and a lot of kinks into deployment. It's, these emerging cities, kind of do get, a little hiccup from COVID. But, I think markets will head toward that direction. And we're very confident of our technology, of our partnership, and then as well as just the direction of the world. The direction of the world is going toward that direction. So we do have competitors. I'm not going to say we don't. We do. But, the good news is some of the copycats already came and gone in 2 or 3 years when all the batteries died already. The nature of copycat is that they try to go as fast as they can by taking shortcuts. And, their battery, I've one battery swapping company came to us and said, hey, how about you look at, adopting our technology and adopting our team? And, when I asked them, like, how long are their battery lasting? They're like, well, 24 months, at most, 36 months. Well, I can honestly say that we have developed technology that monitors these batteries and extend the health of these batteries. And the most best proof case is that our first battery that was deployed in early 2015 continued to work on our network today. And that's the proven kind of, proven technology that only time and usability will tell.
Horace Luke is the CEO and founder of Gogoro, joining us for 45 minutes today on Benzinga Live. We appreciate your time, Horace, and following the story. Chris, any final thoughts?
No, Horace, thank you so much for, taking time out of your busy schedule, joining us. Again, everyone out there, the ticker is GGR. Horace, we look forward to following the progress of your company moving forward.
Well, thanks, guys. I'm excited to be here telling our story. Thanks for giving me so much time to tell it, because we do almost, we are like a little Tesla. We do make our own battery, make our own station, we make our own drive system, and then now we're making our own network. And as we deploy, we're excited to share our story. You can tell from my voice is as much a passion of mine as it is a business of mine, to really see these cities turn to electric through battery swapping, so we can actually build smarter, safer, and more efficient cities. And as we think about the East, and you think about how many two-wheelers there are, most people in the West don't realize how big the market is. It's a gigantic market, and we're talking about both vehicle and refueling infrastructure, right? And that's kind of where the space that we play in. And as we develop these markets, we'll keep everybody updated for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Horace. Have a good one.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All righty. Guys, hey, it's not very often that, the CEO of a public company will take 45 minutes out of their day to come hang out. And so we appreciate that. Chris, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I've never been to Taiwan. I've never been to China. But you see those pictures, you see those videos, and scooters run rampant, right? That's their transportation over there. So it's a huge market. And I kind of like this battery swapping technology. And, I think it could be a great growth market. And, they're getting established over there in some of those countries. They've got some big partnerships, joint ventures. So definitely a stock, on radar for me.
Yeah. And, as you saw with the stock chart when I pulled it up, obviously this isn't really the market for growth right now. Anyway, if you're interested, and I did put a poll in the YouTube chat to see who is bearish, bullish, or neutral on this stock, probably one to, like Chris said, have on your radar. Maybe not buy the second. And if you're going to buy it, you're going to have to stick it in a drawer and forget you own it for a while, because
I think that's the key.
That's just the way this market is right now. But we'll find out. Some of these SPACs really are going to be winners. Some of them won't, but some of them will be. And it's a multi-year story. I do like the fact that they're EBITDA positive. They're making money. I also like that their projections only went out to next year. I'm sorry, it only went to this year. There was nothing beyond this year, which is great, because
not a 10-year here's what we're gonna.
None of these BS in 2028 we're gonna be I don't care. No one, you don't know that, but that's BS. But great job with that. I am interested in following this company. I as I said, I've been to Taiwan 27 years, and my memory is very limited. I don't remember anything basically, so it's almost like I haven't been there. But let us know who else you want to see on this show, guys. If there's a company you want us to hear from, a company that you love, a company that you hate, that's cool too. Drop us a line, put it in the chat, email us, shows@benzinga.com. We will do our very best to get those people on the show if you want it. And Chris, what's the rest of your day look like? You just hanging out?
I wish I could hang out with you all day on the show. I do have a bunch of articles to get done. It's Friday. Right. I'm trying to wrap up. I've got a little trip, this weekend.
Where are you going?
I don't know if I want to share too much of it, but there's a wedding happening this weekend.
Oh, well, Chris got his invitation.
That I'll be attending out of state for a Benzinga employee. I don't know if I want to shoot all this out there, but I know you figured it out. But
all right, so enjoy the trip. And I want an honest review of it when you get back.
Yeah, and I heard you mention airlines. That's something I'll be paying attention to this weekend too. Is airport traffic, airplane capacity and traffic. Now with the mask mandates being lifted and everything. So we'll see what that's all about. I haven't been to an airport in a little bit, so curious to see how things have changed.
Yeah, I expect a boots on the ground channel check on how busy it was, the airport, the airplane, the restaurants, everything, all of it. I want to know. But, all right, Chris Katje, Twitter handle up on the screen. Thanks a lot as always, man. Have a good one.
Thanks, Spencer. You too.
All right. I like this suggestion. Get the CEO of SoFi on the show, Anthony Noto. There actually used to be an Anthony Noto at Benzinga, but it was a different Anthony Noto. Not the same guy. All right. I'm writing that down. Anthony Noto. Yes, we will reach out. I can't make any promises, but we're gonna reach out to SoFi. You guys know that I've been long the stock since 20. What are we at now? Like 6? Let's check. We're at 6. Yeah, all right. So what are you gonna do? All right. So we're gonna have our next guest on in like 25 minutes or so. In the meantime, I thought we would have a little bit of fun. You know, we haven't done it for a few weeks on this show. We've not done a name that chart. If you haven't played before, I bring a chart up on the screen, and you all guess the ticker in the chat. And the first person to get the answer correct wins Benzinga swag from our swag store, swag.benzinga.com. Free Benzinga t-shirt or mug or what have you. So I thought I would do that right now because it's been a while. Let me bring on this chart. This is a 52-week chart, as you'll see right then and there. It's got both axes. I'm not making it too hard. It's got an X and a Y axis. So we do have a price axis here. This is one of your top performing technology stocks. One of the top performing technology stocks in the whole market. Actually, let's just go with just S&P specifically. But I guess overall as well, it would be considered a top performer. Let's see what we have here. This is a 52-week chart of a technology company. One of your top performers in the last year. Not a lot to like in technology land. This one's been okay. No, it is not. This is very much not Tesla. It is not Microsoft. It's not GGR, obviously. My chat just froze up on me. Nope, still not seeing it. Still not seeing it. Oh, Jay Rice, you are too good, man. Jay is too good. Yes, it is Fortinet. Cybersecurity is basically the only theme that's working. Here, let me show you guys. Yep, I was not lying. See, it says Fortinet right there. Bring my watermark back up on the screen. Bring all my things back up on the screen. Yep. Outside of cybersecurity, there really is not a lot working in technology right now. I mean, let's go to the peers tab in Benzinga Pro. Okay, so today notwithstanding, and obviously everything is down today. I get that. But let's just look at some cybersecurity charts. Let's go. We'll go to a daily, and we'll just zoom out to here 1 year. Okay, you can just look and see like Palo Alto looking strong. I mean, again, last 2 days notwithstanding, right? But looking strong. What else do we have here? Juniper, right? JNPR looking strong. What else jumps out? Sentinel-1, not so good. You guys know I'm more of the ETF guy. I've got CIBR. I've got that ETF looking relatively good, right? I mean, it's not making a new 52-week low, which is, I mean, it's a low bar to clear, but frankly, that in and of itself makes it an outperformer right there. Patrick, no, I do not know how to speak Chinese. I lived in Taiwan for 6 months when I was 2 years old, so I didn't retain any. I retained like a handful of words, but I don't know. I don't actually know any. Jay says he has puts. Yeah. It's sort of the last bastion of tech that hasn't been hit, right? Is cybersecurity. What else jumps out on the cyber front? How's NLOK doing? Norton LifeLock. Yeah, look, I mean, sure, it's off of highs, and the last couple of days haven't been great, but alpha outperformance, and it's basically the only good sector in tech, or the only good industry in tech. So anyway, Jay Rice, I know you have a bunch of swag, but if you want to email us, Jay, please go right ahead. I don't know if you will, but email us shows@benzinga.com. I'll send you over I don't know, a hoodie or something. All right. What else was on my list? Oh, before I forget, since it's been a couple days since we've had this show, let's do a quick crypto update and look at the crypto heat map. All right. Ouch. Yeah, that'll do it. So obviously, it's a down day for the market. It's a down day for tech and growth specifically, which means that crypto will trade down with it. And I know that CNBC has been hammering home the point in the last couple of days that crypto stocks are performing worse than actual cryptocurrencies, which we've been saying for a long time. I don't know why you would own a crypto stock. If you want crypto, just own crypto. Bitcoin down 6%, ETH down 4.5%. Again, these are rolling 24-hour charts, so really not much to like here. Solana, I've got that too, down 6%. Yeah, no green out there in crypto land. However, that doesn't mean now is not necessarily is a bad time. If you want some free Bitcoin is free Bitcoin, no matter the price. Go to Voyager, create an account, sign up using the code ZING, ZING, fund that account with at least $100, and make a trade, and they will send you $50 in free Bitcoin. Check it out. Oh, you know what I should also plug is next week. Actually next Friday to be specifically, we are having one of the biggest guests that we've ever had on Benzinga Live. Or I guess biggest companies. I think I can announce this right now. Yeah, screw it. I'm just going to announce it. We're having the CFO of Qualcomm. The CFO of Qualcomm will be on this very show next Friday at what time is it? Noon Eastern. Akash Palkiwala will be on this show at noon Eastern next Friday. Very excited for that. So if you have any questions for Qualcomm, email us. Okay, email us. I'll put it back on the screen. shows@benzinga.com. And put Qualcomm in the subject so we know what the heck you're talking about, and we don't just delete your email because we get a lot of emails. And we may ask your question on the show. So that's very exciting. I'm very hyped for that. All right, let's bring the pro back up on the screen, and I don't know, just kind of hang out. What are you guys watching? We're watching Mullen. It's been a minute since I looked at that stock. Probably since we had them on the List Maker show. All right. Let's go to weekly. Weekly looks pretty bad. Daily doesn't look horrible. I don't have any indicators on here. I go back and forth on using things like VWAP and moving averages, but I think for the sake of cleanliness, I've just taken them all off my charts because it's just easier to look at right now. We had Mullen on like a month ago. Yeah, I think it was actually exactly a month ago that we had Mullen on our EV List Maker show. If you want to find it, go to YouTube and just search for like Benzinga Mullen, and you should be able to find it. That's all I've got on that. Clever Leaves. Realized that stock was still a thing. If you're ever in one of these high flyers that like makes a crazy move like this, right? Like doubles in one day. The first day that your volume collapses, there's your sell signal. That's kind of my yes, exactly, Trade Green. They did spike when we had them on. IBM. Yeah. IBM. Wow. What a freaking chart, huh? Let's go to a monthly on IBM. Again, relative alpha. Let's just compare this to the Qs. And we'll go to a daily. Look at that outperformance. Again, you gotta mess with your timelines, right? Let's just go year to date. Year to date. Look at that outperformance. Oh man. IBM was up 3%. The Qs are down 18%. That doesn't make you feel confident, right? When IBM is crushing everybody else. Ooh. I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's go back to that question I had earlier about travel. How, if I wanted to make a bullish bet on travel, on travel or reopening, how should I go about that? I don't want to do the Jets ETF. The Jets ETF is what I would do if I wanted to make like a longer term secular bet and like actually allocate a portion of my portfolio to airlines for a prolonged period of time. So like what I generally do is I'll buy an ETF if I have like a long-term bullish thesis of at, and to me long term is like at least 2 years. That anything 2 years and above is what I consider long term, right? So that's why I've got the cyber ETF, right? Because I've got a long term bullish thesis on cyber. I believe in the future of esports, right? So I've got ESPO, right? These are ETFs that I own and will not sell for at least a couple of years. I don't have a long term bullish thesis in airlines. I've got a short term thesis. I kind of want to play this in the short term for the short term right now. So these ETFs don't really move a lot, and therefore I'm not interested in jets for a short term trade. I am interested in a short term trade on another airline or cruise line potentially. Let's do this. Let's look at. I'm just going to pick Delta arbitrarily, and let's just compare some charts here: UAL, AAL, JBlue, Save, CCL, RCL, and CLH. Okay, I'm gonna go year to date. This is all in Benzinga Pro, by the way. All right. So what jumps out to me? Well, JetBlue is rumored to be doing that acquisition, so that's why that stock is down so much more than the rest of them. UAL has been an outperformer. Save has been an outperformer, but that's been caught up in some M&A rumors. Delta looks good. American looks good. Okay. What airlines have not reported yet? Has Hawaiian reported? I don't think so. HA and ALK. Oh, ULCC. That's the other one. They're caught up in the rumor M&A crap as well. So I'm just gonna throw here. I'm just gonna throw out Spirit. I'm gonna throw out ULCC, and I'm gonna throw out JetBlue because I don't know what's happening there on the M&A front, and that kind of changes things. So this is just airlines and cruise lines. Trend is your friend. UAL has been your outperformer. Follow. Oh, I'm missing LUV. Duh. How's LUV doing? Middle of the pack. So what do we think? Maybe some like American or Delta calls. I'm thinking like the summer, like July maybe, 3-4 months out. I'm trying to get some feedback on this idea. If I clear out all this noise and I just I'm just going to keep these 3 charts up on the screen right now. Delta, United, and American. I'm going to go back and look since COVID. COVID was there. Nope, COVID was there. All right. No, I don't want. No, again, I don't want to buy puts. I think I'm short-term bullish the space. Right? So I'm soliciting ideas as to how I'd go about playing a short-term bullish thesis. I mean, I could just buy some stock outright, but let's see. They've already reported, so they've already got that catalyst behind them. Let's look at here. This Delta chart, I think. No, I'm gonna get rid of American too because I'm just looking at the chart for, support and resistance. They both look like they're right at resistance, right? Like United is at this. Like whatever that high, what's that high from November? Delta is kind of the same. It did break above that, whatever that quad top is, but now it's back below it. So what if I just did like Delta order to buy if it breaks above Delta if it breaks above what 45 or 40? Yeah, 46. Delta above 46. I could sell a put, I guess. Get paid. All right. I'm writing down Delta Airlines. This is where I keep track of stuff on my little notepad right here. All right, Delta 46. That's what I'll do. Delta above 46, which is right where it was the other day, right? Yep. All right, what else we got here? Just kind of hanging out. We got 8 minutes until our next guest. Oh, good question. Okay. Gun to my head. First off, what kind of gun is it? Because that might make a difference. Gun to my head. Which ETF are you buying? Great question. ARKK, XBI, or MSOS? Let's do some. Let's pull up some charts. ARKK. Jay, I think you have to qualify this with like a time horizon. Like how long am I required to own these? Do I have to own them for a year? Do I have to own them for a month? Do I have to own them for 5 years? Because I think that might affect my answer a little bit. Let's just say it's like, I don't know, 2 years. Gun in my head. I got to own one of these for 2 years. Which is it going to be? Let's go to a weekly. End of the year. Okay, end of the year. End of this year? Oh, that's hard. All right. I'm gonna disqualify. I'm gonna axe ARKK off that list. Okay. I'm gonna axe ARKK. I do not want to own ARKK. I would not buy it this year. That leaves biotech and pot. Oh, God. I already own pot. And it's been pretty brutal. I'm thinking. Yeah, I feel like it's got to be XPI, right? Because pot is really just the only thing that matters is the federal legalization, and we have no idea when that's coming, if that's coming at all in this administration, right? I mean, biotech has been an absolute shit. Like, just here, let's just pull up the XBI just by itself. Just piece of shit. Look at this thing. Oh, you know what I should do? You know what I should have done before I really answered that is let's just go to my favorite ETF site, which is etfdb.com. I just want to look up the concentration. That's what I'll do. That'll be the tiebreaker. I'll look up the concentration and just see how diversified these things are. So XBI. All right. Top holding in XBI when my computer wants to catch up to me is wow. That's diversified. The top holding is Ionis. It's 1.2%. Yeah, I'll take that. As opposed to MSOS. The top holding is, it's hard to say, right? Because it also owns swaps. But it's got 17.5% in swaps on the 5 largest MSOs, right? And then it's got some stocks in there that are 5% or 3%. It's pretty concentrated. ARKK is kind of the same way, right? Because they've had to sell a lot of their smaller positions to during the sell-off. So I'll go with XPI only for its diversification. That's what I would do. Out of those three. That was a very good question. Doesn't look none of them look good, frankly. Sark it up. Should we get Matt Tuttle back on the show? It's been a minute. We can do that. Gosh. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly thought that he was too late. When he launched this thing in November of last year, I thought he was late. I thought he had missed his shot. Clearly, that was wrong. Unreal. Gave him all the credit in the world, right? Just like Katje should get all the credit for when you outperform, you deserve credit. When you underperform, you deserve blame. She deserves all the credit for 2020. He deserves all the credit for this. I mean, wow. What a remarkable performance. All right. Am I missing anything as far as news goes? I don't think I am. Nah. Everything is down. What else is new? Oh, how's Kimberly Clark doing, right? Didn't that pop on its report? Or no, did it? I don't. Yeah, it did. Okay. It's still up. KMB. Nice. Wow. What a move. Kimberly Clark, 3 months of losses. Come back in one day. Damn. Wow. All right. So, like, who are their peers? Procter & Gamble and Colgate-Palmolive and Church & Dwight. So P&G already reported. When does Colgate-Palmolive report? All right. Next Friday. That's good to know. Church & Dwight, when do they report? Next Thursday. All right. So if you're keeping score at home, Procter & Gamble, it'll be intraday, hopped on its report. Kimberly Clark hopped on its report. We got two big ones next week. Church & Dwight and Colgate-Palmolive, Thursday and Friday, respectively. Let's keep this in the back of our minds. Clorox, too, a little bit, right? CLX. How's Clorox doing? Up today in sympathy, yeah. And they report May 2nd. Okay. Good to know. Easy Mike just sold it. Nice job. All right. It's been a few weeks since we've spoken to Tony Benson, so let's bring him on the show. Let's hang out. Let's talk some charts. He's got patterns, I hope, to discuss. Tony, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm just hanging out. It's Friday. I'm by myself, so I'm just chilling.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Not me. Mock fur with my hair on fire.
Oh no!
What else was there to do?
Why is your hair on fire?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's too long. That's why.
Do you want? That's too long.
It needs to be trimmed up. Yeah.
Do you want to share your charts?
I do. Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Whoops. I don't want slides. Screen 2. Now, well, you know me. I'm a bear. I've been a bear for a while. So days like yesterday and today have been fun. So
I bet.
I know that not everybody likes to hear that, but
what trades have you made?
Well, this is one Chewy.
Chewy. I haven't looked at Chewy in I don't know how long it's been. So I looked at Chewy. How's that stock? Oh no! It fell below. It had that support. And
yep.
Oh gosh! Why didn't I notice this?
Exactly why I bought puts on it. So because that's the next levels. The next level is not till 22. So looking at this, I mean, there's just on my trading plan getting in there, there's 10 points of potential, which on a $40 stock is 25%. It's huge. So I'm wishing I was going to add to it this morning, but I missed it. Like I told you earlier, I was doing a web shop the last hour or so.
Yeah.
Wait
a minute. So it's probably not too late though for me to hop on this thing. Like I don't know. Here, let's go to open options chain.
I still think. I mean, I've got an entry point to 35.60. I mean, that's a risk reward, but there's so much. Like I said, there's so much potential. It looks like it's not going to slow down until it gets to about 22 or 25, somewhere in there. So
if I go like 2 weeks out and I go like, where would I want to look here? If I go 2 weeks out and let's just say like 20
options.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see how much they are.
2 weeks? You look at the Mays?
Yeah.
May weeklies or the Mays?
I was on the weeklies. I can go to the Mays. I can go to the here. Let's go to the Mays. Let's get off the weekly. Okay, I'm seeing. Well, I don't know. Wait, what did you say the level was? Sorry.
Oh, I'm on the wrong symbol here.
Oh, that's not good.
The targets. I've got the target set at 25, but the next. 25? I mean, the next major support level is about 23.
Yeah. All right. So if I want to go 22 and 25 here, I can get them for 35 cents.
30. Yeah. I bought the Julys. I go a little bit longer term, especially if I go out of the money.
Yeah.
I bought the July 25s. Well, they're at $1.33 right now, but I picked them up yesterday. I think it was. Yeah, it was yesterday. I paid 83 cents for them.
Not bad.
And I put an order out for a part of it, about a third of the position for $1 yesterday. I thought, well, if it hits in a day, I'll just bank some and then leave the rest there.
Yeah.
And it hit later that day. So I've already got banked some profit and there's still some there. So if it keeps dropping, I keep making money. I didn't expect it to hit. I actually put it above where I thought it would go. And not only bank some profit, but reduce my risk too, which is what the ultimate goal is, to keep the risk minimal. So.
All right. We got a bearish put trade on Chewy. That chart looks hideous. What else you got?
How about a bullish look?
Yeah.
I don't know if
sure.
I don't know what this dude. This is Keurig Dr. Pepper.
All right. This is not one I look at very often.
Yeah, me neither. But this is my favorite continuation pattern. As you know, my head and shoulders is my favorite reversal. As far as price patterns go, and a continuation, symmetrical triangle is my favorite. The question is whether or not this will break out. So at this point, it's just basically a holding pattern. But I'll give you an example if you want to see why I like it. This is Juniper. I think where to go. This one was just a few weeks ago. There's a symmetrical triangle on Juniper, and it broke out, hit the target within a week and a half, and then it came back and did a nice little roll reversal right here. Not only we had this. The old resistance, right? The downtrend line and the uptrend line converge right here, which created a nice little support. And there's another week-long pop that obviously you could have taken advantage of, but this is always the first one I'm looking for. This is why I love patterns, because they give us a good opportunity to, it's predictable. And we get a measured move too. The expected move was 314. And look where it went to. So it's crazy how often it happens. It's still weird. Even I've been at this for 22 years and I see this and it just gives me goosebumps because it's so crazy how accurate they can be. So
the funny thing about patterns to me is actually it's not just patterns, it's really all technicals. Is they work in part because they're self-fulfilling prophecies, right? They work because people think they can work, and then they can work because it's a never-ending loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a feedback loop, but it works. I mean, hey, it's you showed it right there. So, good level, man. Good level. Cisco, what's this?
Because trading, I mean, the market is an emotional place. I've heard people for years say that earnings move the market. Kind of on the surface, yeah, but it's emotion. It's the emotional reaction that people have to earnings that move the market. I mean, look at Netflix. People freaked out. I mean, are they going to go out of business anytime soon? Probably not. But people panic and make all kinds of crazy emotional decisions in the market. And that's where the patterns show us it's basically a superficial visual representation of what traders are feeling about that particular stock. That's the way I've always seen patterns. If you're a psychologist, you dig into the underlying things, what people say, right? And charts, that's what charts are to me.
Yeah.
So, but Cisco's it's kind of a wonky head and shoulders, but it's there. But also that major support there at 53, it broke. It just cracked it last week. This is another one like Chewy that I think could have some pretty significant potential. We've got the target's about 46. And those are ones that they weren't that expensive either. I got the July 50s because they were $1.66. So again, some of these stocks are not, even though Cisco can move big and it can move fast, they're not super expensive, which
can it? I mean, it's Cisco.
Yeah. So I love these things. I love the smaller stocks. A lot of people, why don't you trade Google? Because the options are $100 a contract.
Wait, Cisco is a smaller stock? Is that what you said?
Well, I mean the smaller price, right?
Oh,
Google's $2,500 or Tesla.
yeah.
I looked at Tesla stocks or Tesla puts back when it was at 1,100.
Yeah.
The $700 puts for a year out were $200.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just insanity. I'd rather buy 100 contracts of Cisco than 10 contracts of some on Google.
Well, you'll be able to do Google and Shopify too when they do their splits. So
yeah, true. So I could now. I just don't. Like I said, I just choose not to. I'd rather have more leverage on something like Cisco, and the percentage move is what matters anyway. That's one reason I've loved Alcoa. It's a super volatile stock, and the options aren't that expensive. But a 5% move is a 5% move, whether it's a $2,500 stock or a $50 stock. The rates of return are the same.
Here, wait, question in the chat for you, Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Can you look at IBM today?
IBM.
Yeah.
Where did my chat go? Oh, I have it. The chat box isn't up there for me.
I don't know.
I don't either. So you're gonna have to tell me what people are asking. I can't see it. Is there a specific question about IBM or just analysis?
Well, I mean, why is it so strong? It's strong because they reported yesterday. It was a good report, and it's not a growth tech stock. So therefore, we have to buy. If you are someone that's got to own tech, maybe you're in like a tech focused long only hedge fund or whatever. You got to own something. What are you gonna own out there? Cybersecurity and IBM pretty much is the only thing that's working for you. So what is your take on this IBM chart?
I mean, from a technical perspective, and that's what's hard about gaps like that, when there's news, earnings like that, it's virtually impossible to trade it. I mean, unless you know it's coming, which is impossible to know unless you're an insider. This is one reason you don't trade before earnings, right? You never know what's going to happen. From a technical perspective, I mean, it busted the downtrend line that was solid in place. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's news-related stuff like this, and if the rest of the market's getting trashed, where do you go? You go somewhere that is perceived to be safe.
Yeah.
I mean, Philip Morris is going crazy to the upside.
Yeah.
People are smoking more.
I don't even know if that's true, Tony, but I know I've got me some Altria, and so you're right. It's safety.
I heard somewhere a month or two ago, some article somewhere said that the amount of smokers has increased for the first time in like 30 or 40 years.
Oh, you know what though? I saw that was in 2020 due to COVID. It was the first time in 20 years that smoking usage actually went up because people were
really? Okay. So it was old news then.
Because people were stressed.
Yeah.
But that's old news by now. But even so, Philip Morris and they just had earnings as well. But Philip Morris and Altria are just massive uptrends. So
yeah. From
a
trader's perspective on IBM though,
I
wouldn't do anything with this right now. I mean, obviously there's that high at 141, which we've got resistance there. Was there something above that? There's a little bit above that 146. I think that's probably an all-time high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're bullish on it, I mean, if you understand the fundamental side and you think IBM is going to continue higher, I think if the whole market continues to fall, this will probably get sucked down with it.
Eventually.
Yeah. But right now, I mean, today we've got a little hangman going, but whether it finishes there is hard to say. We're still got 3 hours left. If it breaks above 141, there's $5 of upside, which isn't enough for me to get excited about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd look for some kind of topping pattern here, and then if it gives a good signal over the next week or two that we may fall, I'd be looking at puts then. But I wouldn't be excited about getting long this thing myself.
I'm just catching up here on. Oh, we just lost Tony. All right, I hope he comes back. I was about to bring up ISRG though. I saw someone mention it in Tunis article earlier in the chat. Let's bring that up here. Let's bring up a chart. All right. Oh, he's back now. There he is.
I don't know what just happened.
I don't know. I was bringing up ISRG, which I know is a higher price stock for you, I think. But EPS beat, sales beat, and it's getting absolutely crushed today in Tunis article. This is its worst day. Oh gosh, this must be its worst day since COVID. It might be.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one for a while.
Holy moly!
No, I love these. I trade it when Microsoft first started to crash. I was buying puts on that right and left.
Wow. Wait, hey, you have to reshare your charts. Wait a minute.
Is it not? No, it's done yet.
What's
it's down 20 right there.
Hold on. What?
Let me pull a real-time chart on it real quick.
You have to reshare it within the stream.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got kicked out. There we go.
Wait. Okay. So while he does that, I want to look up and try to understand.
Oh, it's down 40. Holy cow. There it is. Whew. That's daily. Let me change that to 5 minutes. Did it just drop off? Yeah, it just dropped 5 points. Whoops. There's I'm really tempted on some of these big tech, especially like Netflix and any of these other ones, just to right before earnings load up on some puts on them. Just take a one-sided trade, just take a shot at it. But what do you got? Oh, you guys call it YOLO.
Yeah.
Right. This would Netflix would have been awesome. This would be awesome. You buy some, $250 puts for $1, and then they're worth $10 the next day. But that's a huge risk. That's one of those you take, money that you can stand on a cliff and just fan it out and let it fly away if you don't care. But
I'm just trying to understand.
So these guys came out with good earnings, you said?
It was good earnings. Elective surgeries are up. I mean, this is a medical technology company, medical equipment.
Yeah,
it's been a pretty good bet for the past few years, right through the pandemic. But yeah, I don't know. This is a bit of a head scratcher. Granted, it's like I haven't looked for more than 5 minutes, but it's a bit of a head scratcher. I don't know.
What did they say about the future? That's what everybody's watching for earnings. What they're saying.
Yeah. Let me see.
I'm assuming it wasn't positive.
I don't think they gave. Did they even give guidance? Here, let me go into the release right now. Let me go to the release right now and see.
I'll keep poking around here, see if I can find any good ones that I like.
I don't think they gave guidance. If they did, then that could explain it. Let's see what we got here. All right. No guidance.
No guidance at all? Maybe that's why. They didn't say anything.
Not necessarily. Yeah, no guidance. Huh.
Question is, can anybody see that pattern there?
That?
Yeah.
You're the patterns guy, not me. What's that?
I know. This is why there's flashcards.
Uh-huh.
This is Conoco, right? Because oil and energy has been going way up, right? Little head and shoulders. Little head and shoulders.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. I see that.
Which is, as you know, what was it 2 weeks ago? Aaron asked me about this, and there's the crazy thing. Any bet you want to make a little side bet that this thing goes down to about that spot, about 87.5, $88? 2 weeks from now. In 2 weeks, when I'm back on here, we'll go look at this.
All right. In 2 weeks, is ConocoPhillips at $87.
Of course, they have earnings on the 5th. When is that?
That's 2 weeks from today, right?
Uh,
Oh wait, I
yeah.
won't. But Tony, I won't be here in 2 weeks from today. So,
Okay,
so
that's all right.
I would hate to do a bet and then not be here for the payoff.
We can look at it whenever next time, sometime in the future, just like Juniper, right? You know, I mean, you can look. It's easy to look back and see what happened.
Yeah,
A month from now, 2 months from now, even.
yeah.
But there's a lot of this is another one, XOM, that a double top is forming. I got into this yesterday. Used that trading plan right there. So, and a lot of oil stuff, I think, is just overextended. So looking for just
I'm not trying to. If you're trying to make a bearish bet on oil, I don't know if I'm trying to go against you right now. You're right. I'm on the same side as you. I think so. So no dice. Sorry. By the way, I did see a midday M&A rumor from Ubisoft, which could explain why some of the video game stocks are trading higher today. Shelly, Aaron Bree is down in Florida, coming back from the cannabis conference, and I figured, well, I'm by myself today with no Aaron Bree and no producer Rohan, no producer Aaron, so I'm gonna just chill at my desk and just kind of hang out. And I've got Tony here with me, just chilling.
What else do people want to look at? I can't see the chat, so
yeah, let's see what we got here.
There's lows if anybody's in it. This is another one that I love the looks of. We got obviously a clear downtrend. There's another head and shoulders at the top of lows. That one was clear. Home Depot did the same thing, so that little drop was fun. Another little miniature one right here. But we got that
SLI is a lower price name.
SLI, Standard Lithium.
Yep.
I don't know that I've ever seen that. Well, there's support about $5. I don't know why that's not coming in. Oh my goodness. My chart just crashed.
Whoa.
Whoops.
Funny background. I like that.
That was the web shop I just finished. That was the very tail end of it. I thought I got rid of that from my screen, but whoops.
Oh man, there we go. That's great.
That was funny. I went because I talked about I had a friend from my childhood that I hadn't seen for 20 years, and turned out he lived in New York, and this is 2010. We ended up getting together having dinner when I was out there for a workshop. It turned out I didn't know he worked at a hedge fund.
Oh, nice.
And so it was really, really interesting because he started talking about how because I was picking his brain because I didn't know I wasn't on the inside of anybody that worked at a hedge fund. So
right.
I was it was a fascinating conversation because he explained a couple of technical analysis tools that I was fully aware of from a technical, reading the textbooks and just seeing it on the charts.
Yeah.
But he explained it to me from a fundamental trader's perspective, from a hedge fund's perspective. He had no clue that he was explaining it to me, but it dawned on me that what he was explaining of how they function and how they trade inside of a hedge fund was what created the role reversal and the round number, the whole concept from a technical perspective. So it was, as a charting nerd like I am, it was one of those things that I was giddy for several weeks. And I still thinking back to that conversation and realizing that hedge funds are just people like you and me, and they trade emotionally just like we do. It was kind of mind-boggling. So anyway.
Yeah. All right. Can you pull Robert Gomez wants your take on Disney, the House of Mouse, which is caught up in streaming bloodbath here. Through no fault of Disney's own, Netflix single-handedly dragged the entire any streaming stock got crushed on Netflix. Disney, Roku, Fubo. To be honest, I'm not sure how much. Like, I don't think Disney, the stock, is trading too much off of this losing special exemption headline, because I don't think that really hurts Disney in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, I'll be honest. I think it kind of benefits them because they're not on the hook for this massive tax bill all of a sudden. But it is trading down with streaming, right, with Netflix. So I own Disney. I've owned it for years. It is the largest position in my portfolio outside of cash and the two large holding. I own VOO and VEU, and that's a majority of my portfolio. But I do own it. I've got about like 4.5% of my portfolio in Disney. Actually, no, I think it's closer to 5-6% now. So I own a lot of this thing. I'm never selling it, I think. But Tony, I would like your thoughts.
Well, in the interest of full disclosure, I got puts on it.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And a lot of it is not only the streaming thing, but I don't want to go politics, but there's a lot of people, the news headlines over the last couple of weeks, there's a lot of people that are tired of the whole woke thing. And Disney's gone full woke, it looks like. And there's a lot of people canceling their subscriptions.
I mean, yeah, people are canceling their subscriptions, but like Netflix also just proved that people are willing to cancel their subscriptions. Any subscription, right? I don't know if I like buy into like the whole like Disney woke thing. I mean, Disney, historically has been, I think, pretty non-progressive in a lot of ways. But people, the bottom line is people will cancel. They will cancel. They will cancel, and it's easy. It is so easy to cancel your subscription to a streaming service when there's a dozen more that are out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Amazon, HBO gained 3 million subscribers last quarter. HBO Max, right? You got Apple TV Plus, which every day I hear about another new good thing and I don't have Apple TV Plus, but every day I hear something else, some other show or documentary or movie that looks good to me that's on Apple TV Plus, and I don't have it. So yes, it's easy to cancel. Disney looks terrible right now.
Yeah, I think it's a combination, and I think, and I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum. I think people are. If I'm going to Disney, I want to be entertained. If I want politics, I'll watch the news.
For sure.
So I think there's a lot of people, and this is me included. And again, I'm not huge in politics, but I don't watch the NFL to see your political point of view. I don't care what it is. Right. I watch Disney. I watch the NFL. I watch those things for entertainment, not for politics.
For sure.
So I think a lot of these big companies have gotten too political, and I think a lot of people are tired of it, myself included. So, and again, I don't care where you fall on the political spectrum. It really doesn't matter. But I'm paying you to entertain me, not for your point of view. So yeah, that's just me. That's me personally. But I think that's part of the reason that Disney's getting beat up. They're losing subscribers just by the nature of the beast, that people are bailing on it anyway. But I think that's definitely having a fact. It's a factor. It may not be a big one, but it's a factor.
Right. And the reason why I'm harping on subscribers is because, like, yes, Disney Plus is a very small part of their business. But if you look at this Disney stock, and I'm going to pull it up on my screen, this is a weekly chart going back 6 years, right? This entire move higher was all basically March of 2020 to March 2021. That was all Wall Street falling over themselves to buy Disney Plus, right? It was Disney Plus is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and we have to buy this stock because Disney Plus is amazing. Well, turns out streaming is really freaking hard and expensive, but this whole run up that happened when the parks were closed, when nobody was making movies in the summer of 2020, right? So why was the stock going higher? It was Disney Plus. So that was the reason for the run up, and that's probably the reason for the run down here now, is because they're realizing, wait a minute, Disney Plus is the streaming, the economics here don't quite make sense all of a sudden. But Disney Plus was your catalyst on the way up, even though it is only a fraction of their business. I know people that have gone to Disney this year and they've said it's as packed as ever. I'm sure that's always going to be the case. Disney World, Disneyland will always be crowded. But
yeah, I just took my kids to Universal in December, and it was busy.
I bet.
So
I was at Disney in 2018. And I did get to go to Universal, but I would have liked to spend more time at Universal. I didn't get to spend as much time there as I
Yeah, it was a good time. We only had 3 days, so we didn't have. It wasn't enough time, so
Yeah.
had to squeeze it in as much as we could. So
For sure. Anyway, so like, what is your take on the chart here right now?
Short term, I went back and pulled up what you said, and I remember talking about this back here when there was the Head and Shoulders.
Yeah,
we were on, but earnings was coming up. So, but as far as the short term goes, I think the next spot is, it looks like we're going to fall to about 113. If we crack that, we're down, to about 100. We'll most likely hit that number of 100 if we crack there somewhere in that area.
It doesn't look it doesn't seem like that's very difficult to get to. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility, which is unfortunate for me because I was having fun when Disney ran from 1 to 200. I was having a blast, but it's not so fun now when your stock is down $90 in the last year. But
yeah,
them's the brick sometimes. That's how it goes. I still maintain Disney will find a way. They always find. It's freaking Disney. It's the entertainment capital of the world. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think they'll go away anytime soon. Content is king, and nobody owns more of it than Disney. So I think they'll be fine long term. But in the near term, yeah, it's certainly worrisome. No doubt.
Yeah. I'd be if anybody's interested in getting long, and I'd wait for it to build some kind of base, build some kind of pattern that
definitely would not want to buy Disney here. That's for sure. And I would not be averaging. I'm still up in my position, but I would not be averaging into this down move. No way, Jose.
Yeah.
All right. Got a couple minutes left here. Any more tickers for Tony as we sort of wrap up the week?
Let's see what. Pull something else up on my lid. Lowe's is another one that I don't think we talked about that. I had it on the radar, did I?
Oh, what's this one?
Lowe's.
Oh, is that
Lowe's on Home Depot?
LOW, yeah.
Another one. There's a Head and Shoulders at the top. I think we did talk about this briefly, huh?
Yeah.
Looking for it. If it breaks 200, about 180.
It broke it. It's there. I mean,
I don't know where it's at right this second.
It's at 199.
199.50 right now. So I just picked up puts 50 cents ago.
All right.
So
what about here? Well, let's just do. All right, let's do a couple. Let's do Mosaic MOS. Did that thing stop going up?
Mosaic.
It did stop going up. All right. Wow, what a freaking
that's
run!
another one.
What a run!
Yeah. There's another. I mean, you keep bringing up patterns. There's a little pennant pattern, and 15-point run, and it followed it. Let me get rid of that now because that's out. We can't trade it now. It's already gone. But earnings is coming up. I think, is that right? They're coming up on the 2nd.
Oh, I should probably know this. I'll tell you. Yeah, Mosaic reports the second after the close. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, 67.07. So it's bounced a little bit, but I mean, from a trading perspective, I don't see anything that gets me excited at this point. I mean, the pattern. I'm always looking for pattern. You can see there's that pennant pattern, which would have been a good trade if you caught the upside. But as far as a trade to the downside or a bullish trade on this thing, I mean, it might bounce about 65 there. It's got a little tiny bit of support right there. But if it doesn't hold that, so I would look for this thing to bounce about 65. This is just kind of looking out and projecting out what might happen. If it turns anywhere from here where it's at in 65 and bounces back up and gives us a right shoulder, then we'd have a Head and Shoulders. But that could be weeks before it plays out. There's no pattern to speak of right now.
Let's do one or two more. Let's do DraftKings. What is there to say about these stocks? Holy.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one for a while. I mean,
look, single digits has got to be on the mind, right? I mean, it's gone from 74 to 13.
When you say single digits, are you talking about 0?
No, I'm talking about 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this thing's not looking good. I mean, I haven't seen it. This has fallen off the radar because it went below. I think one of my scans I have, it goes, the lowest is 20. That's why I don't see this one anymore. I guess maybe I should adjust that number down. But yeah, definitely not pretty. As far as from a technical perspective, there's The floor is zero. I mean, as bad as that may sound, I don't know if I think there's going to be if the market keeps continuing to fall in a year or two, there's going to be a lot of M&A stuff going on, and I don't know what these companies are like fundamentally. If they're worth somebody buying them, if somebody comes in and snatches them up for a good deal or not. But
I don't know. It's the whole space has gotten crushed. There's probably going to be some consolidation eventually, but I don't know when.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah. All right. Tony Benson runs Patterns in a Flash. Check him out. And Tony, great talking, great catching up. It's been a while.
Awesome. Thanks, Spencer.
Have a great one, and we'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
All right.
All right. It is 1:31. I don't know if our next guest is joining us. As Mark Moran from Liquidity Capital. I never even bothered. I just think what I did was I sent him a calendar invite, but I didn't email him or text him like a schmuck. So maybe he'll join. Maybe he won't. Here's a plan for the rest of the day. We got Moon or Bust at 2:00. That'll be followed by At the Close with myself and Joel, and that will be the wrap on the week. We will be this weekend streaming some content from the cannabis conference that was not aired already. What happened was it was a 2-day conference, right? It was Wednesday and Thursday, and we had 2 stages both days, and we only showed one of those stages. So we're going to show the other stages this weekend, tomorrow and Sunday. We're going to be airing all the panels and the speakers from the other stage down from Miami on our YouTube channel. So if you want to see what else happened, if you weren't there, you'll be able to watch it for free this weekend right here on youtube.com/Benzinga. No, I'm not going to do a TikTok dance to. Show of hands in the chat. Has anybody bought I-bonds this year? I keep putting it off. It's on my to-do list, and I keep putting it off. Mostly because I'm lazy. But it is on my list to buy some I-bonds. What's the max? 10 grand, right? I'm just curious if anyone's bought I-bonds. And the new interest rate, 9-point-something%. I just want to know. It's the best hedge there is right now. It's safe. It's guaranteed by the U.S. government, and it beats inflation. Brian Blockchain did it. Nice. Yeah, if I wasn't, maybe I just should I just do it right now? I just so. You know how you get these things on your list and you put them off and you just never get to it. That's what the I-bonds is for me. I just let's go to Treasury Direct right now. MD did it. All right, I have to open an account, don't I? How do you do this? Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. I've never actually done this before. All right, I went to treasurydirect.gov. I clicked open an account. Wait, huh? All right, Treasury Direct. Step 1, choose the type of account you're opening. Provide personal information and then a password. Okay. I have to apply? Is that how it works? Okay. I'm an individual. Yeah, individual. That's what I want. Okay. Wait, this is it? Okay. Okay. All right, well, I don't want to share that screen. Easy. I don't know. Is the site not? What are you saying? It's not working for you? What's the risk on I-bonds? Well, they're treasury bonds, so there is no. I mean, there's inflation risk because the interest rate is tied to inflation, right? So if inflation were to go down, then the rate would adjust downward, right? But yeah, it's 9.5% is what they're paying right now. And they're treasury bonds. So There really isn't much risk there. That's kind of the point, right? But the catch is that you can only buy $10,000 worth. That's the catch per year. All right, this is I'm on to page 2. This is the furthest I've gotten in the process. So after we're done here, I'll finish this. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, thank you, Brian. Yes, thank you for that caveat. Forgot to mention that. You can't just day trade these things. You have to hold them for a year. Oh, I didn't actually know that, Quantum. That's good to know. Here's the thing with tips, though, as I understand it. Tips, and I could be wrong, but I thought tips only worked against unexpected inflation. Right? Your tip stands for Treasury. Yeah. Wait, what is it's hold on. Now I'm blanking. Yeah, Treasury inflation protected securities, right? So the inflation protection of that, I think, is only for inflation that hasn't happened yet. Like if you think inflation will get worse, right? Then you would buy tips. But tips is not going to protect you from inflation right now. It will protect let's take the government at their word. Inflation's at what, 9.5%, 10%, whatever. I don't even remember anymore. If you think inflation is going to 20%, you want tips. But if you don't think that, then I don't think tips would work for you. That's my understanding of tips. Is they only work if inflation goes up. If it doesn't keep going up, then you're shit out of luck, I guess. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding of tips. I don't own any tips. So take that for what it's worth. But that's what I thought. Anyway, 138 here. I'm gonna hang out for a few minutes just to see if Lit is gonna join us, and if not, I'll just hop off. How's the Gap doing today? Let's check in on our disaster stocks of the day, which were the Gap and Corsair, at least from the morning. All right, the Gap bounced a little bit. Go to Corsair. I'm gonna throw some music on because what the hell? It's Friday. What does this do? Cool. We're vibing. Anyone have any questions for me that I may or may not be able to answer? Google. Yeah. Refresh. Yeah. Tough day. I mean, tough day for everything, right? Just look at the overall market, right? Everything's down. Shelly, why is living painful? That's a very deep question. I don't know if I have the answer to that. I would say that life is almost never as good or as bad as you think it is in the moment. Well, life is pretty even, right? We get high, we get low, but it's never quite as good or bad as you think it is. It's always in the middle. It helps me whenever I'm feeling down. Remember, it's never quite as bad as I think it is. I don't know if that was profound or not, but maybe it was total bullshit. I don't know. By the way, happy Earth Day, everyone. Happy Earth Day. And oh yeah, Shelly, how's the CFA thing going? When's your test? I remember you talking about this. Happy Earth Day. And what else is today? Today is National. Today's the 22nd. Today is National Jelly Bean Day. Oh, it's National Day of Silence Day. Your test is in November. Ouch. Sorry. It's National Jelly Bean Day, National Day of Silence. I don't know what that means. National Girl Scout Leaders Day. National. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, this will make you feel better if you're feeling down. Tomorrow is National Cherry Cheesecake Day, National Picnic Day, National Record Store Day, and National Talk Like Shakespeare Day. So tomorrow should be a fun day. That's a great idea, Shelley. Aaron Bree's birthday is coming up. How can we prank him? It's got to be something that involves Jason, whatever it is. I don't know what that would be. Maybe we do a thing. Probably it can't be like. See, the problem is the prank can't be that Aaron gets yelled at, because Aaron doesn't. He laughs off being yelled at. I've yelled at him and he just laughs it off. It's so annoying. So it can't be a prank where anybody gets mad at him, because he's very good at not letting it get under his skin and not getting upset. Exactly. I don't know what we could do though. I got to think about it. He's a tough one because he doesn't really get. Yeah, he doesn't get shook. I don't know what it would be. Maybe some food related. I don't know. All right. Was there anything I forgot to get to cover that I wanted to? Let me think. I don't think so. Looking at what's trending. How's Twitter doing? I looked at that one in a couple hours, right? Oh wow. All right. Since the show started, it's actually flat. Since the show started. Okay. Uneventful. Yeah, you know what? Easy. Quantum. I was looking at Domino's. What I think it was yesterday or the day before that, because it had been a minute. It's starting to bunch a little bit, yeah. DPZ starting to bunch up a little bit on daily and the weekly. I saw that too. I still don't really want any part of any restaurant right now, but maybe not the weekly, maybe more on the daily. I don't know. Yeah, what's that support? You got obvious. The great thing about all these stocks making huge, crazy uptrends is now that they're coming back down, you have obvious support below the move every single time, right? So in this case, it's 376. Anyone have any good weekend plans? I'm going to see Blue Man Group tonight. Big fan. I haven't put a trade idea in today. Have you guys been using this? This is the trade ideas widget in Benzinga Pro. This is where people are just dropping their ideas in all the time. If you haven't checked out this widget, I recommend you do it. Just free ideas. Right there. You go to the homepage on the left-hand side, you go to ideas. Right here. Not Shelly, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so here's what we'll do. I think I'll just probably hop off right now because I have to set Moon or Bust up with the producer's not here. So I'll make sure that the guys are good to go on Moon or Bust. They're going to be recapping the Bitcoin Miami event because I believe they were there. So I hope you guys had fun today. Just kind of chilling, hanging out. Been live for mostly more or less since 8 a.m. An hour break. I'll be back 3:30 at the close. Me, Joel, hanging out. But until then, that'll be place to wrap it up here for today. So if you haven't already, smash the like, please and thank you. And hey guys, check out Benzinga Pro for real. Free 2-week trial for everyone. pro.benzinga.com. I'll put the link up on the screen. Where's the damn link? Well, yeah, here's a link that you can just copy that link, right? Make it so it doesn't scroll. Just copy that link and get 25% off. Benzinga.com. Easier to see. Benzinga.com or benzinga.grsm.io/Benzinga Live. That's just that link lets us know that you came from the show and gets 25% off. My screen is blinking because stuff's moving. This is my scanner. Benzinga Pro. Stuff's moving right now. Things are going up and down. Why it's moving. So this is Benzinga Pro. It's the heart and soul of this company. It's a research tool. It's a news tool. We got scanners. We got movers, calendars, news, audio squawk, press releases, SEC filings, trade ideas. Everything you need is in this platform. Check it out. Use that link. Get 25% off. Shelly, you missed it. All right, I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to hop off and get set for Moon or Bust in 10 minutes. And that'll be it. If you have no idea what Benzinga Pro is, I'll end the show today with a commercial. How about that? If I can find it.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? That's right. News headlines have a unique ability to drive stock prices up or down. These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. And if you're looking to grow your portfolio, it doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. An easy-to-read stream of news headlines will increase your opportunities to profit from price changes in the stock market, consolidate a knowledge-based investment strategy, and grow your portfolio. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring to make a positive change in your trading performance. We've already helped thousands of retail traders across the world, and they could not be happier. Increase your market knowledge, boost your exposure to big movers, and make informed trades before major price changes. The opportunities are all around you. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.